everybody. We are back today with Brandy of Brandy Astrology, and we're going to deviate from talking about crime or forensic charts today. We are going to be looking at event charts having to do with aliens. Specifically, the chart of the hearing on UAPs or UFOs or whatever word you want to use, term you want to use. The hearing that was held by the House Subcommittee on National Security, the Border and Foreign Affairs on July 26th of 2023. We're going to look at that chart. We're going to look at the chart also. Some people from the Pentagon were also questioned on May 17th of 2022 about, I think about like where money was going and if they're taking these UAP people that are saying that they've seen UAPs, if they're taking this seriously. We're going to look at that chart too. We're also going to look at the chart for the Tic Tac incident, or the video that's called FLIR. This video was mentioned, brought up. It was David Fravor. He's the one, and I can't remember the other person's name who also verified this, but that particular incident, we're going to look at the chart for that too, just to kind of see what's going on with all of that. Yeah, it's interesting
what it is, right? Like we have these, and they're fascinating videos. Like,
yes,
and this is military people,
yeah,
testifying. So yeah, what is it? Is it just unknown? Is it actual aliens? Like, I'm curious what the charts show.
Yeah, and you know, and in saying that specifically for the Tic Tac incident, you know, I'm not at all, and neither is Brandy, questioning that the people that saw what they saw are telling the truth or not. I think that these people really did see something, but I guess we wanted to look at the chart for it, like to see what is it that they saw. Did they see something that's actually like extraterrestrial or interdimensional or whatever the, you know, or is it something that they just don't know what it is, but somebody else somewhere here on Earth does.
Yeah, could it be kind of classified military
yeah,
country, or who knows?
Exactly. Yeah. Should we? Which one do you want to look at? Well, the last one we should look at is probably the Tic Tac one, which, by the way, was fucking hard as hell to find a time for that. I scoured for like, I finally found it at like 3:30 in the morning, and I was like, oh, fuck a time. I could not find.
Ellie rocks. I promised to help her and I dropped the ball, and she was at like 3:30 in the morning finding it.
No, but like the other ones, the Gimbal and Go Fast, no fucking times. Finally found dates and location, but no time. So we only have that one to go off of for that, but
that's okay. We use what we got. Do we want to kind of start recent and work backwards? Like, could we start with the July hearings? What do you think? Okay.
Yeah, we could start with that.
Start there since it's current event.
Okay, let me go to pictures.
And it was in the news quite a bit. I was actually surprised. And of course, other events have taken over the news now, so we're not seeing it. But I was pleasantly surprised to see a lot of news channels reporting on this.
Yeah, so was I. The public, though, it is interesting. The public kind of acts like, on average, they don't give a fuck.
Right? Like, I mean, I'm glad no one's freaking out. But yeah, it's odd. I find it odd.
It seems like a lot of people are like, eh. And maybe we've had so much collective fucking trauma over the past, 3 years, that is 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, fucking, that it's just kind of like, oh, of course aliens exist. Whatever.
Of course. Why not? Like, with everything else going on, add aliens to the mix. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Which chart is it? I hope this is it.
We'll just start with the one you pull up. We can have fun and be.
Oh yeah. This is it.
Okay, cool.
This is it. Yeah. It's cut off, but this is it.
We see the planets. That's all we need.
Yeah. Yes. So this is the chart for the hearing that took place on July 26th of 2023.
All right.
Okay.
This is such an appropriate chart.
What stands out to you first?
Well, I always love to start with the chart ruler and the moon. If we get to use moon as a co-ruler, and we do. And Mercury and Leo in the 12th house, hidden.
Yeah.
And then we have the moon in Scorpio, another hidden sign.
Yes.
We got a moon in the sign of secrets. We got Mercury, which is also, I like to look at Mercury as like vehicles of some sort, right? Like movement. And it's in the 12th house of things that are hidden from us. So we got a lot of hiding going on.
Yes, there is.
That's the first thing I see that really stands out.
That sun in the 11th. And then that stuff in the 12th house flowing into the 11th.
Mm-hmm.
It is like, it does feel like it's trying to bring something to light. Trying
to get some visibility. And you said like there were talks of money, right? Was that this trial or the one in 2022? Oh,
I think money did.
Or is money always a thing?
I think it's always a thing with this shit, and we're dealing with fucking government shit, so it's going to be.
Venus is retrograde. That's why I asked, because it's like Venus retrograde 2 in the 12th house makes me wonder how much money is going towards these things. But where do I want to go with that? Like it makes me think there's already money going towards her. Like there's some kind of secret programs or
yeah. Well, and there is a, and I'm going to butcher this, not get this totally right, but there was somebody who, and I can't remember his name, but he came out, he said he was part of like a secret program within the Pentagon, I believe, or the Department of Defense or some, whatever. And they were looking at UFO shit, UAP shit. And they said that it closed down, but it didn't really. Now, I'm not sure if that came up in this hearing or not, but you bringing up the secret money or like funneling of money in some way to something more secretive. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it fits. I also want to point out, and we don't usually talk about the part of fortune, but that part of fortune is right on the fucking galactic center.
Oh, it sure is.
Like it's right there. And I don't know, when I think of weird shit, this feels like this fits. Like this doesn't not surprise me.
Yeah, because this is weird. Weird. I don't think it's weird, the idea that we live in this big ass universe. No, and we'd be the only ones here. But weird, as in kind of a really different story than what we're used to.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm with you. It would be such a fucking waste of space if there's nothing else but us. How disappointing.
That's what I was gonna say. I'd be really disappointed. I'd be like, really?
We're it?
Like we're
all y'all got?
That's not good.
Yeah, really. Like no, I'm totally with you on that. And it would be disappointing. It would just seem wasteful. Like the universe is so vast. Really, we're it. Logically, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to be the only thing.
No. Hopefully there's more intelligent life out there that maybe takes care of their planets a little better.
I hope so. Maybe these UAPs want to watch us to be like, oh, look at this shit show. Look what these fuckers are doing.
We might be their reality TV.
We really might be. We really could be.
Yes. That might be the silver lining to this crazy world. We'll see. I don't know.
So everybody get real weird because aliens could be watching us laughing their asses off. So get real fucking weird. Do strange shit.
I think they already have.
But but yeah, he mentioned the whistleblower, David Grush, I believe that's how it's pronounced. His name is pronounced. Talked about the government having how did he say it? Non-human biologics.
Yes.
Now,
basically being led to believe like alien bodies, right?
Yes. I mean, now to be fair, a non-human biologic could be a fucking cat. But I don't think that's what, you know what I mean? Like the wording is just kind of funky, and I get he's not going to sit there and say they're little green men or what, I get that, but
I think if it were cats, he probably would have said cats though. We found piloting the aircraft. So, yeah, the fact that he uses that word or that term makes me think it's something that we're not familiar with for sure.
Yeah. It's the wording was just kind of interesting. There was also something about interdimensional something or another, or the possibility of interdimension. I can't remember the exact phrasing, but it was something about like interdimensional travel. Or what I thought was interesting about it is it's like this is actually being proposed as possibly possible, which is interesting.
It's interesting too, the fact that we're dealing with kind of like a whistleblower, right? Like someone really bringing stuff to the surface. That Mars in the 12th house, in the sign of service, but also ruling the 3rd house of like communication, information, and it's in this opposition to Saturn. It's just such an appropriate aspect for whistleblower against the government.
Yeah, against authority, against Yeah, it really is.
And I find it interesting that, I mean, we've had hearings and stuff in 2022 and stuff come out earlier, but it feels like this hearing in July that we're looking at is getting the most attention so far. And it's when Saturn is in Pisces, which, a fun fact, a lot of astronauts are Pisces because, there's not the boundaries, right? It's like,
boundless.
Exactly. It's expansive. So you find a lot of astronauts are actually have a lot of Pisces planets or a Pisces sun. And we get Saturn entering the sign of Pisces, and we're getting a little bit more attention here. So, I don't know.
It almost feels like even hearing like this, I don't know, like a dissolving of like structures or things that are already in place, right?
Dissolving of tradition too.
Yeah, that too.
Like this used to be under wraps and behind closed doors, these things discussed, and now it's more public.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Can we talk about Neptune in the 7th house? I'm like, wah, wah, wah.
Sure.
In the 7th house, who in this event, who is the 7th house representing? Is it people hiding?
It could be. It could. Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering too. I definitely know I definitely was looking at like the 9th for truth stuff, right?
And you got Jupiter there, which is pretty good testimony that this is not bullshit. I mean, I think, in my opinion, but
the one thing though, and I don't think that it's a lack of truth on the whistleblower's part, but there's something funky is that Venus in the 12th. Or that could also though point to like there were things that he couldn't say. There were things that the other people that were testifying couldn't say. That could speak to that though too. Like there are things that they could not say in this open session.
Yeah, because it's still classified information.
Yes.
Right.
It could point to that. It might not point so much to lying at, or keeping things hidden for like nefarious reasons, but just because they couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And the Neptune, I don't know, what would you think of the 7th house in this, the legal aspect?
Could be legal. It could be. We kind of think about this in different ways. Open enemies, like, someone who doesn't want this coming out. And with Neptune there, Neptune can be a lot of things. It can be art, it can be daydreaming, it can be expansion of some sorts, but it's also lying and creating smoke, creating muck. So I tend to think that's kind of what's more happening here. Like give people some information, but not too much. I don't know, something like that.
That might actually make sense. Yeah, it is pulled up, the quincunx with Neptune and Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
Like not seen. Though with Neptune in the 7th, it feels kind of purposeful.
It's an interesting time, especially with this Pluto at 29 degrees.
Yeah.
It's an interesting time period for this country.
Yeah.
And it's that Pluto return if we want to bring the nation chart into it. But it's definitely, and you know, Pluto's in this retrograde too, you know, so things are bubbling up, you know.
Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting thing in the chart, but it makes me wonder what this will turn into, or I don't know. It's just
it might lead somewhere. It could lead to like finding out about a lot of, I mean, the money thing, right? The moon is in the 2nd house of this chart.
of money, possessions, or
yeah,
money.
It could show, it could be the start of kind of, or not the start, but a piece of kind of perhaps seeing how we spend our money and maybe what we're spending it on, and how, you know what I mean? Like finding out that, I don't know, maybe, I don't really know how to word what I want to say, but I think there could be something found out with money.
It's kind of, I want to use the word concerning, but I don't really mean it that intensely, but it's kind of concerning because, you know, this is trying to create some progress or some information, and you know, that's kind of the point of this. But we have a moon that's via combusta. We got planets in the 12th house. It feels very void at the same time, like not kind of getting what you're going after.
Yeah.
So I don't know that, you know, my question here is this going to get bigger, or is this going to just kind of go back away? The via combusta moon is a little concerning as far as getting more information or it being a bigger deal.
But kind of going a different way than perhaps maybe its intention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking. Yeah, I could see that.
Now, if I was looking for aliens or extraterrestrials or some kind of craft, I don't know what to call it, aircraft, UAPs, I don't know. UAPs from like another solar system, galaxy, place, universe, what the hell's out there? I don't know. You know, I would think I would see 11th house stuff. I would see Uranus in play. 9th house is far away travel. And we definitely got the sun in the 11th, Jupiter and Uranus in the 9th. This chart, just going by this one, it makes me think there is some like some stuff that's not man-made.
Yeah. This field, yes. Yeah. No, I agree. I do agree with that for sure. I was just noticing also the nodes, they're loosely squaring the sun, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so, 4 degrees, it's still pretty good orb, I think.
Or maybe I meant to say like out of some, you know what, like an out of sight.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of, maybe this is exactly the right time for this, for this kind of tension. I don't know.
Yeah, because you know, you're getting a luminary making tension and kind of drawing light out, yeah.
And opposing Pluto.
And opposing Pluto. And then you get, it's just so like a back and forth going on here. You got things like that, but then you got like the moon in a fall. So the other luminary is kind of like, I don't know. It's so odd. It makes me feel like it's a divided issue.
I think it is. And even like the sun squaring the moon. That is a little bit looser, but applying with that, I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think it is like a divided thing.
It could be. And, we see the moon as representing the masses or the public. And we were saying, or you were saying earlier on this episode, how people just kind of aren't making a big deal. Maybe that's what this moon is implying here. It's like, hey, the public's just kind of like, so.
It could. And even like, I even wonder if like, because the public's reaction also in these can be like in a forensic chart, right? It could be the midheaven, right?
Okay.
How the yeah. with that Mercury in the 12th, I wonder if what if people feel like there's more still being hidden and that's why they don't give a shit?
That, or another theory, are people embarrassed to have an opinion about this? Because either you believe in aliens or you don't. Either way, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Some people might be like, I don't know, just a theory.
No, I could see that, because like even like the people the people that have talked to, that have come forward talking about this stuff, they make it a point to say, I'm not one of those kind of people. And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of people are you talking about? But
yeah, what are you talking about? I know.
But yeah, there could be some, embarrassment, with that, I guess. I don't know. I've never been embarrassed of that shit, but but I could see how some people, that perhaps get more embarrassed than I do could be.
Yeah. Yeah. So
do you want to look at the one for the Pentagon?
I do.
That I labeled Pentagon shit?
Pentagon shit. No, and you sent me this chart. I laughed for a good 5 minutes. I love the title there. Because I totally got it. I was like, oh, I know what this is. This is the Pentagon shit.
Yeah, there we go. Pentagon shit.
So,
all right. So this one I do think did deal more with money. With the conversation of money. Nothing in the second, but we do have some stuff in Taurus in the 11th.
We do. We got Saturn in the 8th house, which is sometimes government money or other people's money, taxes, tax money.
It's all Saturn's also squaring those fucking nodes.
Man.
Which,
yeah. Here's the thing with those planets in the 10th house. Sorry, I am totally thinking out loud here. So, it feels like there is opportunity for this to be more public. Still not a huge story, right? Like, but it feels like, hey, like this was a time like we should have jumped on this more. And it makes sense. I mean, if you look at what's going on now versus 2022, the news might have been a little slower, maybe a little bit, but
maybe. Yeah.
In case, I'm not to get political here, in case you're watching this like far into the future, a year from now, all the Trump indictments and all this stuff going on right now. So 2022, I'm trying to think back. I don't remember a lot of that.
No, not that. Ukraine. That was that at that, not that it's, I mean, that people still talk, that's still going on. They're talking about it
this
now.
was 2 months after it started, I believe, because I believe it started in March of 2020.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So that all might have overshadowed this a little bit.
Now you do got Venus though in a detriment in Aries, so maybe that's kind of implying there's some opportunity, but not really in the best signs here.
Yeah, we also have Mars in Pisces, and right on the mid. And to me, that feels like with Neptune right up its ass, like they're I don't know. It feels kind of I don't want to,
It feels clumsy to me.
clumsy. I was going to say clumsy, aimless, like it doesn't really know what it's doing.
Yeah.
Or where it's going.
Yeah, it's just like floating around like do like
Yes,
nowhere to go. Like just yeah.
exactly. That's right at the top of the chart. And it's like
It feels drunk. I'll tell you that. It feels drunk. Like these planets are partying, having a good time, not taking shit seriously.
and that right there makes me wonder about how serious the people that they were speaking with from the Pentagon that day actually do take this.
Mm-hmm.
There is a part like that, there is kind of a part of me that wonders just how, because that was also part of it, like making sure that people that see UAPs or whatever feel like they can come forward and talk about, maybe not talk about it to the public, but like whatever, let their superiors know that they saw this. And I guess in the past that was a problem because they weren't taken seriously. They whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wonder how serious these people that were, I guess, what is it? Testifying? Yeah, interviewing. That's what they're doing.
It's like an interview.
But it does make me wonder how serious they take it.
Yeah. I'm with you. I feel like, and there might have even been caution or, you got Pluto there in the 7th too, or people like, I got to play this one. This feels restricted in a way, even though this chart is ruled by a moon, which is kind of wishy-washy, ebbs and flows, but it's still restrictive.
It kind of feels like restrict with the Saturn in the A squaring those nodes. There is something kind of like restricted by other people's money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
Here's what I don't like about this chart, because we're talking about a hearing. We're talking about a hearing where information is supposed to come out, but we got Mercury retrograde combust with the sun. Like,
yeah,
that's kind of not cool. Like for trying to get information, it's like things are still hidden.
Yeah.
And on fire, I don't know.
And on fire.
Combust, it's like.
Yeah, and that sun, which is trying to, like that house, it's intercepted. Which also feels kind of adds to that like hidden quality that you're talking about.
Intercepted, it's eating Mercury. It's like, but it is in the 11th house where the conversation is about.
Yes. Yeah, and that makes me think that that like does make me think that the conversation is like a real thing or like a valid thing to be taught. You know what I mean? Like to bring up.
Yeah. This is, I guess you can wrap this up with a bow. This is a hearing that's not going to be very productive, I think, my opinion.
Yeah. And I'm not sure that it really was. When I kind of, I'm not sure that it was. Yeah.
Right.
Should we look at the one for the Tic Tac?
Yeah, real quick though, because I know like behind the scenes we had discussed that moon. And I would love for you to bring that up because that was really, I thought that was fascinating.
Okay, well, about like the great attractor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, so that moon is conjunct to the great attractor. Okay, so and when I like how Brandy was saying, like like alien, extraterrestrial, UFOs, UAPs, whatever, looking at Uranus, looking at Aquarius, looking at the 11th house, absolutely. I do think also for this weird kind of shit, you're probably gonna see like the GC involved. You're going to see the great attractor involved. You're going to see the Shapley attractor. You're going to see these anomalies, these weird things, these black fucking holes. I do think that, as a way, as a portal for things to come through. And yeah, so that moon conjunct the great attractor and starting to apply in a very loose conjunction with the GC does kind of stand out here. It definitely does in terms of especially what they're talking about.
Yeah.
What this was about. want to see though, was that doing anything? Was that moon doing anything that I wanted to talk about? Not off the top of my head, I guess. If it comes to my mind, there might be something else. I don't know. I'll think about it. If it comes up, we'll pull it again.
We'll go back to it. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll go. Yeah, if we need to, we will. Because I feel like there was something it's doing that I'm not like talking about right now. Oh yeah, I know what it was. The moon's a fucking chart ruler.
Yeah.
And it's quincunx. It's not showing up there, but it's quincunx the ascendant.
Yes, it is. And
I don't know why the fuck that's not coming up, but it's quincunx. It's quincunx the ascendant, which to me makes it seem like, again, there's something not being seen. Like I kind of like there's a part of me that, and I don't know if this is the case with these specific people that they brought up to testify from the Pentagon or whatever, but it almost makes me wonder if they were kind of wondering why they were doing this in the first place. I don't know. There's something kind of like not being seen about that.
And that's interesting because if you look at like Hellenistic theories on that, when you have a chart, now kind of be careful if you have a birth chart ruler like this. This is just a little theory. But if the chart ruler is in the 6th house, it is considered to be a really unproductive energy. And these, like you have to work harder to be productive. So it backs that up.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Yeah. That was what I wanted to bring up. I'm glad I thought about that while it was still up. Okay. But yeah, this doesn't feel, it almost feels like, I don't know. I mean, like, from what I remember reading about the people that they brought up for this hearing, it seemed like they were the people to bring up, but I'm really wondering if they were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, and I kind of wonder if they wonder why they were the ones to do this too. I don't know. That sounds really confusing, but that is kind of how this feels like.
It feels
really
a little bit like a waste of time because it's like, we're not getting at the heart of the matter here. I don't know. That's just my overall energy of this chart.
Yeah. And I mean, even like, okay, like let's say the heart of, or one of the hearts, right? There are multiple reasons for this, but one of the hearts of the matter is UFO shit or UAP shit. That moon is also quincunx Uranus.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, and I don't know, kind of interesting. I mean, I know that wasn't the UAPs was not necessarily the point of this, but
that's
what they were talking.
What we want to know, right? Like taxes, money on board, like Jan, like let's get to what this is.
Yeah, or it's like ignoring, like almost like ignoring what actually should be at the heart of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I hope what I'm saying is making sense to everybody. Okay, good. Okay, cool. Because sometimes I feel like when I say things, I'm like, wow, that didn't make a fucking damn bit of sense.
Yeah. Welcome to my life. That's all the time for me.
Let me, okay, this is the one for the TikTok, or what I'm calling TikTok. It was also, is this the right fucking chart? Yes. Okay, so this is the TikTok or FLIR video. David Fravor. I believe I have the name correct. Let me double check myself, make sure hold on. Yes, David Fravor. He is the one that saw this in a jet or flying. He was flying. I don't know what he was flying, but he was flying. And he saw this thing that looked like a Tic Tac in the water. This was November 14th of 2004. It wasn't in San Diego, but it was pretty close to San Diego off the coast. Around 2 p.m. And so I wanted to pull this kind of also to see like if there's any like, weird shit popping through here, and also just to see if, what he saw, not discrediting what he saw, but or that he was not telling the truth with it or anything like that, but like what did he see kind of thing, looking at it.
I think he was definitely telling the truth. The fact that Mercury's in Sag, which is very blunt, honest, does not hold back. And it's there with Pluto. And then
Pluto.
also makes me think, I know things was reported, but it makes me think he's scared of like, oh shit, how much should I say? But I've already, something like that going on.
Yeah, and he just, I don't know if I said this before, he was one of the ones that was testifying on July 26th.
Oh, okay.
He was one of the, he was there at that hearing. I also want to point out in this chart, that fucking moon and that fucking midheaven are right on the GC.
Yes.
Which definitely, I saw that and I thought, I thought, holy shit. There we go. That Mercury is also right on the great attractor, which does make me think, you said like him being afraid of like perhaps how much to say. I think there could be some of that, especially with Pluto there, but it's like what he says, maybe he knows it could be, it could attract things that perhaps maybe he doesn't want. And that could be from a bunch of different, in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah. And I would expect to see ninth house activity with flying or this was over the ocean, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
And with large bodies of water. This is definitely reflecting what is going on. That sun and in Scorpio in the 8th house, like, man, this feels swept under the rug.
Yes, it does. Yes, it really, really does.
Not even swept under the rug, like locked up, triple locked, put in the basement,
Yes. Yes. Put in a basement.
Put in a basement. Saturn is in a fall over here in Cancer in the 5th house. I'm trying to kind of make sense of that. It's, it's definitely in a water sign. We're dealing with the ocean stuff, but it feels like, something's, I don't want to say creativity, but it's like, something is restricted in how much you can say as well, and expression and these sorts of things.
Do you think that could also point to these things, whatever this thing is, this tic-tac, that it might be closer to home than we think? The cancer thing is kind of what makes me, how exactly I mean that, I don't know. I'll leave the people watching.
I don't either, but I want to add on to it because what I want to say, I don't know either. But yeah, closer to home. And Saturn is like something that's really old, right? That's been around. Like, maybe this has been going on a lot longer. Like, this is not new. This could be there is part of the planet for all we know.
That's kind of what, and I mean, like that the 11th house thing, right? Capricorn on the cusp flowing into this is kind of also, just to explain for everybody watching this, kind of why I'm looking at it like that too. And that 11th house being, like technology and perhaps sci-fi, alien shit, whatever. Yeah, I mean, there is a question of, could this be something part of the planet that?
Yeah, do they live downstairs? Are we sharing this planet and we're just now figuring this out?
I mean, that is okay. Let's roll with that for just a second. Just, because there is a theory about that, hollow earth or whatever, that, there is a whole world under there, which is.
Oh, like in the core and.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I mean, I don't know that I entertain lots of theories without necessarily believing them. I do think that is a cool theory, a cool idea. I don't know,
I don't either. I like evidence, but yeah, who knows? But what we don't know, we don't know. And so
you're like, I like evidence.
I like evidence. I'm not saying but I'm open to it until I just won't say this is what I believe until, but hey, it's interesting in the chart, it makes you question. It's okay to question,
Yeah.
So this chart is ruled traditionally by Jupiter in the 7th, modernly by the Neptune in the 11th. What's your take on this chart ruler being in the 7th house on like this event chart?
Well,
it's intercepted. I see that, but
yeah, I was gonna say it makes me think that because in this chart, I'm kind of thinking of like him as the ascendant, right?
Mhm.
It does make me think that I think he did try to report it, and it doesn't really feel like it was, I don't know, really fucked with the interception, with the intercepted part, with him being intercepted.
It's interesting. I'm just thinking out loud here. It's interesting that Jupiter and Venus, the beneficial planets here, you know, of good fortune, are in this house and intercepted. I don't want to like put this out here, but I'm just thinking out loud. Was there some sort of reward for, hey, let's keep this here for a
Oh, I
bit?
don't know. There could have, maybe.
I don't know. I'm not like, yeah, that's me thinking out loud, guys. I'm not saying this has happened. I mean, it's just,
Or maybe it was presented like being a service to keep it with Virgo actually on the cusp, like it was a duty or a service to keep it quiet.
yeah, because, you know, keeping things classified is part of being in these roles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that just stands out to me. And it's a little bit like, need to chew on that a little bit. That's interesting.
Yeah. Chew on it. Is there? No, there's nothing actually squaring the nodes in this one, is there?
Got Mars right by the south node. It's not squaring, but
It's also right. It's also conjunct Shapley.
wow,
Another attractor.
another attractor. It's a strong Mars, you know, it's in the home sign of Scorpio.
You know, the first
Mars is in keeping quiet though.
it is, you know what that actually, my first thought with that was like, were these friendlies?
Hmm.
And I mean, the tick, like, I don't know. There is, I don't know. And not because it's, I mean, that Mars is very strong there. And Mars, you know, strong can be, you know, you could use that in a good way or a you know, a not so good way, right?
It can be ruthless to get ahead. It can be keeping things under wrap. Yeah, it can be spiral up or spiral down. You know,
But that, with the, you know, with the, there is a question that I have, like, is this tic tac thing, or are these whatever run the tic tac things, are they friendlies? I'm not trying to be scary when I say that, but there is something about that that's make me wonder, are these fucking friendlies?
it's saying friendlies, like there are friends.
Yeah, are they friendlies? Yeah, like whatever the tic tacs, whatever these things are they friendlies? Like, are they on, quote,
I mean, I
our
tend to
side?
think so, because if they can invent these flying crafts, I'm sure they could take us out. Like, but I don't know. Do they have the consciousness to kill? That's a whole other thing. But
yeah.
But you know, Mars in Scorpio is intimate.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just like a yeah. And there's also something about that Aries intercepted in the first, going to that Mars. People know, there are people that know about this. They know what these are.
Yeah.
They know what these are. I'm not saying
I agree with that.
I'm not saying that David Fravor knows what this is. I don't think he does. He, you know, I'm not saying he does, but there are people that know what the fuck this is. They know what it is, whether it's some shit, some other technology that we have that we're not saying we have, some other government's technology, fucking ETs, intraterrestrials, fucking interdimensional, whatever. People know. There are some people that know.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Way more information than meets the eye.
Yes. Do you think we'll know?
Like, do you think it'll ever come to light?
Yeah.
Let me go back to the 2022 chart.
2022?
Yes, the Pentagon shit.
Pentagon shit. Pentagon shit.
Will we know? I'm a little mixed on that answer. I think we get more information. I think it's going to be packaged up and wrapped in a bow to look like something else, though.
Yeah, I agree. I was hoping you'd be like, yeah, well, but
there's
no.
too much. Like, we have like sun in the 8th house. We have a moon in Scorpio in the July chart. You know, we are getting a little bit of sun in the 11th, which brings me to inventiveness. And so
inventiveness.
I think it's going to be packaged to be something else. Like, oh, here's an explanation. And so we will get a label of what it is. Will it be what it is? I don't think so.
And
that's my opinion. What do you think, Ellie?
No, I think you're probably right about that. I think you're probably right about that. Also in with the moon, you got the moon there in that one, and then let's see, and then in the because you've got yeah, you've got the moon at the bottom in both of those other charts, whereas in the one where that TikTok thing happened, right, like both are at both are at the top, both the sun and the moon are at the top, right? You know,
the moons are hanging below the surface for the most part, which is the public.
Now,
the sun here is in Leo, which is very visible, but that's the government. These are the people in charge. These are leadership. So they get to know. Will the public get to know? Not fully, no.
Oh, and in this one, we didn't talk about, we mentioned this. Did we talk about the sun being quincunx Saturn?
We did not.
I just noticed that with like, like talking about the government and shit.
Yeah. A lot of, I call it in conjunct because the other word's a lot bigger than my mouth can say. But a lot of in conjunctions here in these charts. It's a little bit of a pattern.
Yeah, it is. Shit just not being seen.
Not seeing each other, and just another testimony to stuff being hidden. Yeah. Or not visible.
Is there anything else you want to share about these particular charts or any thoughts?
I don't think so. No, I guess if any final thoughts, I think what we're seeing is kind of what we're getting. I don't know how much deeper it'll get for the public. So
I'm not sure either. I did want to share the weird experience though.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a good one.
Okay, this is fucking weird, y'all. Like, this is strange. And I actually have a picture of it, okay? I'll put it up. Okay, so the other day I was playing with my son in the living room, and I was looking at the pictures that are on the fridge, right? And I was like, holy shit. Okay, backstory. Last year on July 26th, my son wanted to paint a picture. Well, sometimes he wants to paint and shit, and then he wants to name the pictures, whatever. So he painted a picture called UFO. It's a picture of a UFO. That's the picture. This was a year ago. Now, last year when he did this, I dated it 7/26 of 23. Wasn't 2023, it was 2022. And why the fuck did I do that? I don't know. It's the same reason that I'll fucking date things as 2005. Like, I don't know. But I remember catching myself after dinner. I thought, oh, what the fuck? But I didn't want to fuck up his art, you know, scratching it out. So I thought, what the fuck, I'll just leave it. And then, you know, I'm playing with him on the floor the other day, and I noticed that fucking thing is dated for the same day that those fucking alien hearings happened. And he wanted to draw a picture of a UFO, and then I dated it wrong. I thought it was really weird.
I think you and him were teaming up and like really having some premonitions and some predictions going on here.
Perhaps, yeah. Neither one of us knew what the fuck was going on when it happened. But yeah, I'm thinking that's like it's interesting. It makes me want to do more art coloring with him and date things incorrectly.
Yeah, it's kind of like automatic writing in a sense, like things are coming out through that, you know, psychic information.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember thinking, why the fuck did I date it that? Like as I was doing, you know,
that
whatever.
is crazy weird.
Yes, it is.
Like that's
it
not
is. I thought,
how you can say it's a coincidence because it's UFOs and it's the date of that hearing. Like
yeah, and it's and it's not always that he wants to like actually like he does a lot of coloring and painting, but he doesn't always want to save it, right? This one he wanted to save. He named it. This is what it is. Put it on the refrigerator. Yeah, it's kind of
yeah. We got to get that kid painting some more.
yes.
What's going on next year, Silas?
Tell us the future.
Draw a picture of the president.
Ooh. I wonder what he'd come back with.
Do we want to know? Maybe we don't.
Ooh, I might try that though. That's
Yeah.
not a bad idea.
Seriously.
Well, Brandy, share where you can be found.
Thank you. I can be found at brandyburrowastrology.com and Brandy Burrow Astrology on YouTube and Instagram. And Ellie, where can everyone find you?
You can find me here on YouTube at Let's F with Astrology. You can find me on Instagram at Saturn Season Astrology, and you can find me on my website at saturnseason.com. And thank you for wanting to do this.
Thank you for having me. I love being a guest and getting to talk about this kind of stuff. So this was different, like event astrology. I hadn't done that in a while. So thank you. I'm honored you had me here.
Yeah, it was fun. And I guess to everybody else, see y'all later.